It's been a busy spring and summer so far for the New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center, and it's about to get even busier. Director Laura Orleans here to tell us about the Seafood Soiree happening July 19th. Hi, Laura.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
My guess is the Seafood Soiree is the center's biggest fundraiser for the year.
Absolutely. So for 3 years, we had a fish fry, which was a small, very casual event, and we've upscaled this year. We need to, keep support going for the center. And to be honest, fried fish is not necessarily the best way to showcase the bounty of the sea. So we've changed it up a bit.
All right. So this is happening. It's a great location. This is at the James Arnold House at the Wamsutta James Arnold Mansion.
Yes.
That's not a house. That's a mansion at the Wamsutta Club on County Street. It's a great historic location, and there's lots of New Bedford history there. So how did you get that location?
I was at the James Arnold Mansion for I gave a talk there, and it just occurred to me that it might be possible to have an event. And so I spoke with Cindy, who's the event planner, manager, and we just began a conversation about could we bring chefs in from who are not just the Wamsutta chef. So, in fact, Raymond Fonseca, who is the Wamsutta chef, will be making some non-seafood appetizers. So petite quiche and spanakopita and bruschetta and chicken alouette, which are some of his sort of signature appetizers. And then we have, I've sort of lost count, but we have numerous other chefs from area restaurants, and the seafood companies have been incredibly generous. Restaurants have been incredibly generous, and chefs are really excited. And they're creating these amazing dishes to showcase everything from scallops. We've got Eastern Fisheries and their executive chef, George Carusos, and he'll be cooking 50 pounds of sea scallops that evening right there on the spot. We have little mini lobster rolls from Oxford Creamery. We have sushi from Turks. We have shrimp cocktail from Kyler's. We have a smoked eel or unagi dish from Chris Cronin at Farm and Coast Market. A monkfish stew from Mike Mello at M&C Cafe. A paella dish from Greg Morton. Shall I go on?
Well,
there's so much. There is no skate on the menu for this event. So far, there is one chef who hasn't yet told us what he's making. We have a crab dish that features Atlantic red crab donated by that company. So, it's a wonderful opportunity for people to taste all of these different seafoods, to sort of find out about some of the chefs they may not know about, and just to help us raise some very much needed funding to keep our organization afloat.
Well, tickets are $75. It's a great night out. All the proceeds go to the Fishing Heritage Center, and that is important because this has been, I think, fair to say, your busiest year ever in terms of exhibits and the kinds of things you show, whether it's music, paintings, photography,
school programs
out there talking up the events.
And people may not realize, but some of our programs cost money. So we have concerts, that generally have a ticket fee, but some of them are free. Last week we had Anna Vinagre perform a free Fado concert. Next week we have a free film, which we do every month. Our school programs, by and large, are free to New Bedford school children. We have a free summer camp that we've been running. This will be the 11th year, and it serves how many kids? 48 kids who are entering fourth grade, and it's a completely free of charge camp. So, there's a lot of stuff that we try to offer free of charge.
What do you do at the camp?
What do we do at the camp? It's very fun. So it's a partnership with the National Park Service and the Whaling History Alliance. Kids basically learn about the Port of New Bedford from the whaling days all the way up to the contemporary fishing industry. So it's a nice arc. They start out the week learning about whaling, and by Wednesday they're learning about fishery science and fish tagging. And by Friday they actually are taking a tour of a dockside tour of a scallop vessel. It's a week long. It's 30 hours entirely free of charge. They even get breakfast and lunch provided by the City of New Bedford's rec department. So it's a lot of hands-on. Every day there's an activity that takes them out of the building, and every day there are hands-on activities with guests, teaching them sea shanties, storytelling. They make a lot of crafts. It's a lot of fun. A lot of kids have asked, can I go next week? So, or they try to sneak back in the next year, and it's kind of a one-time opportunity for children.
That's great, Laura. Yeah. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips, and joining me is Laura Orleans of the New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center. Now, the soiree is is really kind of a big deal. What are you hoping to? How many tickets are you hoping to sell?
We would love to see a full house. We'd love to see 150 people in attendance. I don't know if it's okay to shout out to some of the sponsors, but we do have some sponsors on board. We're really pleased to have sponsorship from Eastern Fisheries, from Bay Coast Bank, from Farm Credit East, from the Wamsutta Club, which is providing the venue, and have I forgotten anyone?
Maybe more.
And maybe more. Oh, and South Coast Media Group. Yes, thank you so much to all of those sponsors. And I should say that if people enjoy music, we have a wonderful local trio called the Hot Club Cheese Roll, kind of a strange name, but they play what they refer to as gypsy-style jazz. So if you think about Django Reinhardt, that kind of swing sound, and so they'll be performing at the event. We also have an auction, and somebody who is near and dear to both of us and familiar to your listeners, Phil Paleologos, will be auctioning off some really unique items. And if I can mention just a couple of those, you can actually bid on the chance to have a scallop dinner for 4 aboard a local scallop boat called the fishing vessel Elizabeth and Nikki, prepared by the captain himself in the galley of that boat. So you can't get that unless you come to this event.
Can't get much closer to the water.
And if if that doesn't float your boat, so to speak, we also have a day out lobstering with a lobster captain who fishes out of Boston Harbor. So you go out lobstering for the day and wrap it up with a lobster lunch. So those are, just really fun, unique items.
All right. So the other big summertime event for the Fishing Heritage Center is the annual Seafood Throwdown. This is happening in August at Custom House Square, and is not to be confused with the Seafood Soiree.
True.
Different style event, but this is 2 chefs going at it.
2 chefs going at it. So it's, if you know Iron Chef, it's that sort of thing. It's a little twist on that. And we actually, this was not our idea, but we've been partners for a long time with the Northwest Atlantic Marine Alliance, otherwise known as NAMA. They're based up in Gloucester. And they kind of took that concept and used it as a way to bring attention to what they call underutilized or underloved species. So the idea is that the chefs bring 3 ingredients from their kitchen. There's a secret seafood that gets unveiled right then and there, so I can't obviously speak it on the radio here. And so then the chefs have to think on their feet. They get about $25 and 15 minutes to shop at the farmers market in Custom House Square, come back, and they have an hour to cook and plate, and then there's a panel of judges. We know one of the chefs at this point. We don't know the other. We're still working that out. But Chef Gibbons, who's the sort of top chef at UMass Dartmouth's Chartwell Dining Service, is going to be competing, and we're still looking for his competitor. And it should be a lot of fun. It takes place, I think you said, on August 23rd. That's a Thursday from 5 until 7. And, of course, following that event, there is a free tasting opportunity.
Free event.
I should also say, sort of on the food theme, we've been offering free cooking classes and free cooking demonstrations this season. So that's sort of another whole thing. We think about fish in terms of history and culture and politics and ethnicity and all of that, but here's an opportunity to think about the fish as food. So on July 13th at DeMello's Fish Market, at 11 o'clock, Rhonda DeFazio will be making a redfish dish. So again, opportunities to learn about some of these so-called underutilized species. And Henry Bousquet is doing a series of classes. The next one is actually already full, and then there's one more in August that we haven't even opened registration yet for, but these are classes that are being funded by a grant the city got from the Division of Marine Fisheries, again, to bring attention to some of these lesser-known species. If we broaden our palettes, it builds the market for the fishermen, and everyone does better.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. Couple of updates we want to talk to you about. There's some things happening. You've got a couple of films coming up, and very close on July 12th is a new art exhibit.
Yes, so it's called Rigs, Hulls, and Wheelhouses, The Art of Bob Lavoie. So Bob grew up in Fall River and worked his way through college at SMU, working at LVD Fish House. Some of your listeners, I'm sure, can remember that place. So he worked, I think, as a chute man, basically pulling the fish in and sorting it once it came off the boat. And that's how he made his way through college, where he majored in art and graphic design. He ended up being a designer for Hasbro. And now that he's fully retired, he's devoting himself to his true love, which is painting. And what he's real passionate about is the lines of these boats. And so he actually reached out to us and said, do you have photographs of the old Eastern rigs? I'm looking for source material for my paintings. And that led to a whole conversation with him about the possibility of doing an exhibit. So this is his first solo show, actually. We're extremely honored to have the work up on our walls, and it's beautiful. It's original paintings, and they're kind of close-ups of the rigs, hulls, and wheelhouses, sure. Thus the name.
July 12th, 6 to 7, another free event by this wonderful organization here.
And if you can't make it July 12th, that exhibit will be up through the end of September.
Okay, it's an opening reception that night. 2 films, July 20th, the documentary film series that you have been going a long time. Barge is one, a film about Mississippi River shipworkers at the National Park Theater. August 17th, documentaries Altro Mar, the Sicilian heritage of the Gloucester fishing community, also at the National Park Theater. That's a very rich history there. And
it is, and
Gloucester, of course, a wonderful port all its own.
Absolutely, and the venue at the National Park is a wonderful spot. If you haven't been, it seats 55, and it's nicely air conditioned on these hot summer nights. And those films are free of charge. Again, so July 20th for Barge, and this month we're sort of looking at workboats. So the exhibit and the film kind of go together that way. In the month of August, we're looking at Sicilian heritage. So we have the film, and then the following night, a concert of Sicilian maritime music featuring Rosa Tatuata, which is a New York-based, I think there are 5 quintet, and they'll be coming down to play traditional Sicilian maritime music.
You never miss a beat.
It's kind of busy. It's kind of busy where we are.
A couple of quick updates here on a couple of projects. Oral history of the New Bedford fishing community for the Library of Congress. That was seafood workers, is that right?
It was actually shoreside workers, very broadly.
Workers,
so we interviewed 58 workers in everything from seafood processing plants, but also the shipyard and marine electronics people and engine mechanics and the whole gamut. People who design nets, people who paint boats. So the idea was really to learn more about the work, how they learn their jobs. So we'll be mounting an exhibit. Actually, I didn't even mention that, but the next exhibit to go up will open, I think, October 11th, and it'll showcase that whole project. But presently, the interviews have been completed and transcribed. The Library of Congress is working on getting those up and available on their website.
And the labor project.
Labor project that we've talked about. So the history of organized labor in the Port of New Bedford up until the early 80s, pretty much every aspect of the waterfront was unionized, and a series of strikes kind of changed all of that. And so we've been doing archival research and also a lot of interviews with people who remember that history. We're wrapping that up. We're hoping to develop a more sort of permanent exhibit that would integrate some of that content.
All right. Where can folks get tickets for the Seafood Soiree?
Yes, so tickets are available at the Fishing Heritage Center. We're open Thursday through Sunday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. If those hours don't suit you, just give us a call at 508-993-8894, and I'm sure we can work something out. I'm there pretty much every day of the week. Tickets can also be purchased online. There's an online ticketing site called Brown Paper Tickets, and if you Google that and then just type in Seafood Soiree, and soiree is Soiree, it will bring you to a link where you can purchase tickets.
Thursday, July 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 at the James Arnold Mansion at the Wamsutta Club, 427 County Street in New Bedford. Laura, it's great to see you again. Thanks for coming in. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jim.
That's a wrap for this week. Thanks for tuning in to Townsquare Sunday. Thanks also to production director Jason Kent, digital editor Casey Sylvia for getting this program on the air and on the internet. I'm Jim Phillips. Have a great week and a wonderful Sunday.